You rock. Your support has been tremendous, and I thank you for that. I'm excited for this week, and who better than to start it off? You know, you got to start with something exciting and somebody who's going to get the place rocking, and that's my friend Vickie Maybury. And if you've read about her, we have her bio here, so you know. She directs Skyline Chorus as a Master 700 director. She's on the international board. She's the expression judge specialist. The best category of the four. I would just like to clarify that right away. So and she's dabbled in some quartetting and has only sung on the international stage. So she's won a few things there too. So talent she's not at a loss for any talent. But better than all of that accomplishment is that she's just a wonderful person, and she cares about this organization, and she cares about women, you know, getting their voices, whether it's singing or your confidence, right? She's all about that kind of thing, and you feel that when you're with her. So I'm lucky to call her my friend, and I'm thrilled to bring her to Region 1 so that she can get us started in the roots of performance. So take it away, Vickie.
Oh my gosh. Karen, thank you for that wonderful intro. That was just delightful. And it is good to be in Region 1 and to be with all my friends in Region 1, and wherever you are, your guests from all over the world, please, I want to tell you, thank you for coming. We're going to get this week started off under the roots of performance. And so how I'm going to start is, first of all, I'm going to ask whoever's running the meeting to go ahead and mute everybody except for myself. But I am going to have a place where we're actually going to stop and unmute people. So if they want to talk and ask questions, but I'm going to ask you to do some work in the chat as well. So if you feel comfortable and would like to, when I ask questions, I'd like you to go ahead and mark some things in the chat. I also have somebody helping me monitor the chat. Okay, so anyway, this class is called The Roots of Performance, and it's all about the new entertainment criteria, the new entertainment criteria that we have developed. And so, but it's more than that. It's actually, I want to kind of get into, so what is entertainment? Okay, so before I get started with that, if you feel comfortable, I'd like you to write in chat, what does entertainment mean to you? What does it mean? What is entertainment? Okay, and I'm going to say, Wikipedia says, entertainment is a form of activity that holds the attention and interest of an audience or gives pleasure or delight. Okay, so now that's Wikipedia's version. Okay, but now let me go to the real people, which is all of you. And I want to read what you're writing. Engaging the audience, connection to the audience, brings joy, connecting with the audience, something to enjoy, what holds your attention and connects. Entertainment takes me out of my daily life. I like that because I think for me, when I go to, say, a live Broadway show, which I can hardly wait to do again, and sit in the audience, I forget about how tight my bra is, how uncomfortable the seats are, because real entertainment starts taking me on a journey. So I forget about the normal things of life. Artistic and emotional connection, that's great. Provokes an emotion, a performance that uses a catharsis in the audience, yay. Something I enjoy, cool. Create a memorable and emotional event with the audience, sending a message through music and lyrics, yes. Escape from reality, yes, that. Giving the audience an experience they will remember and enjoy, yep. Something that I can relate to and touches my emotions, beautiful. Bring me to a different world, pure pleasure, moves me, engaging experience out of the normal. Yes, it makes me feel good. The ultimate storytelling, good, suspend belief, removes me from my reality. something that touches my heart. It's all about the audience, their connection with your product. They are immersed. Okay, so this is so powerful, and that's what I love hearing. Is I want you to share your thoughts, because we're going to learn from each other, and as we talk about what entertainment is. So to get started, I'm going to actually share a screen because I have a PowerPoint, but I'm only going to use it part of the time. Now, there are no words up on the PowerPoint, except for when we get to a particular judging sheet, okay? There are pictures. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be speaking about entertainment. So let me get my share screen going. Okay, can you all still hear me? Yes, perfect. Thank you. So we're going to talk about the roots of performance, and I thought, I wanted to hear what entertainment meant to you, and what that means to you, and it's a lot of different things. But I thought, you know what? Let's go to some of the professionals, the people in the entertainment world, and what they talk about when it comes to entertainment. That first slide, you probably recognize her. She's got an incredible voice. But she also is a wonderful entertainer. And so I'm going to read to you something that Mike Berniker, who is a record producer, talks about when it comes to entertainment. When singers are not being truthful about the lyric in terms of themselves and their own psyche, they don't sing as well. You have to bring your psyche and your history and your baggage to the lyric. Okay? So and isn't it interesting? We talk about that a lot as judges. When people get into the lyrical message, into the storytelling, their singing always goes up. Well, here's somebody in the entertainment industry, a record producer, who says the same identical thing. Okay. Next performance. Whoops. This is actually Alina Aroaz, I think. She's an off-Broadway director. She's also faculty at Princeton. She said, theater works its best magic when it capitalizes on actors, voices, and bodies to give us everything, even the scenery. And that audiences' imaginations are most captivated by what is not shown to them. Thought-provoking. She also says, I believe audiences look for two things. They want to get lost in the story and believe in the honesty of the characters. They want to feel the love of performing, radiating off of the actors and off of the stage. They want a suspension of disbelief and a desire to get up on stage themselves to sing and dance. How many times have you been to a performance? And maybe it was a barbershop performance, a show, whatever, any kind of performance, rock and roll, whatever. And you find yourself clapping, wanting to sing, wanting to stand, want to actually get up and sing with those performers, okay? Entertainment, my friends. This next person is Rob Marshall, who is a director and a choreographer. I always look for individuality and people who dance, sing, and act with character. It's always about the acting, always. I'm not impressed by empty triple turns, by empty high E's. I'm not impressed by technique. I'm just not. I will hire somebody with less technique and more emotional connection, or more individual acting sensibility in their dance or in their song. That's always more interesting and exciting to me. Interesting that these are people that work in the industry that hire the people. So next, and you might recognize this performer, Lady Gaga, and her most recent, I think it was in the inauguration. Stephen Flaherty, who is a composer, says this: when I'm writing, I think about the character. That's all I think about. I think about the character, the emotion in the situation, and try to imagine what the character is feeling, what the rhythms of their speech are, what the rhythms of their emotional life are. It's like I'm acting. It's method writing. You put yourself far in there that when you're writing, it's not like you're writing at all. And so therefore, the composer is saying, I'm writing with those thoughts in mind. I'm not just writing notes and words. There's more to it than that. And then the performer gets it and lives it and takes it and delivers it. So one last comment, and this is from also the record producer again, Mike Bernicker. He said, I remember working with a big male recording artist. I remember going out to him and saying, I don't believe what you're saying. You seem very flip and slick, and I don't think anybody's going to be moved by this. Nobody wants to hear you sing. They want to hear you tell a story through the song. We spoke about the lyric, about what we thought it meant, and his work changed immediately. He chewed it up. It's the best thing he ever recorded. So I have a picture up here of Sinatra because Mike Bernicker goes on to say, I mean, I don't think people buy records. I really mean this. I don't believe Sinatra was as big as he was and remains to this day. I don't think they bought his records because he was a great singer. I think they bought his records because he was believable, singing the lyrics in the style he did. And I think that's the simplest answer. He was believable. So I'm going to stop my screen share for a minute because I want to come back and talk for a second. So for a moment, I'm going to ask if everyone would unmute themselves just for a second. Or Lauren, if you can do that for me, that'd be awesome. Okay, so I've got all the people on. And so now, just for the heck of it, y'all, I want you to applaud like you're giving a standing ovation. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. And so, okay, so let's, so now what I want is I want to understand, what did you feel when you were applauding? What did you feel? And so if you want to put that in chat, because we've got a lot of people on, and I want people, if you would put some of your feelings, how did that applause feel? Were there any thoughts about what I was talking about with these professionals? And so joy, happy, you felt good. It felt excited, joyful, excitement. Yes, energized, joyful. Excellent. Okay, somebody said I felt nothing. That's okay. It felt weird. Happiness. It made me remember a great show. It's been too long. Yes. And so what happens for those of us who have been on stage and have experienced that thank you, because that is a thank you, when people applaud or when they stand up, and it fills your soul, that is the gratitude for the entertainment. Okay. And we're celebrating that through our applause. And we miss that. And so tonight, I just wanted to take a minute so we could all applaud, because all of a sudden I have all these memories coming back when we got standing ovations, or people were, and they wouldn't stop applauding. And it was just such a feeling like, thank you. Oh my gosh, the gratitude filled my heart. And so it was that feedback that came back and said, we loved what you sang, what you did, what you performed. And so that's such an awesome feeling. Okay, so that being said, are there any, and so I love the fact that you put in the chat how you felt. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to ask, did, in all of those things that I shared, and all I had were pictures up there for you to look at, what did any of those pictures evoke a memory, or could you tell they were into the emotion of the performance? Could you tell they were doing something that was entertaining, that you were being pulled in? Was there something visible in that? Okay, and I'm going to try to take a look at the chat and see if anybody felt anything in any of that, or it brought a memory of a performance. You could feel and see their energy. Lady Gaga, because I saw it live. Exactly. Yep, at the inaugural. And so isn't it interesting how you see that picture of her performing and it brings back all of those memories, okay, of that particular performance. The look in their eyes, oh, it felt honest, excellent. Their facial expressions, yes, because they weren't all the same expressions. It was different. You could tell they were singing different kinds of music. Reminded you of their artistry, exactly. Barbara always tells the entire story as she does, as does Gaga, yeah. The memory evoked isn't always positive, and that's true. Sometimes it conjures up feelings that aren't always positive, but there's the connection. And so maybe we just need to have to revisit some of those memories. Yes, I just loved Barbara singing People, saw their passion, exactly. And so there's that communication piece without even hearing the performer. So now I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, I just want to warn you. So thank you for feeling free to share some of those thoughts, because I think that helps us to hear different perspectives, and not everybody feels or hears the same things, and that's okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. Okay, oh no, sorry. There we go. Come here. Okay. So I'm just going to go back for a second. I prefer to look at him for a moment. I've had so many, and I saw some of you put performances of Frank Sinatra and that sort of thing. He absolutely always sang from his toes. I can remember all kinds of performances, watching him either on TV, or I had the opportunity to watch him live several times. And he was just, it was like you were sitting having a conversation. So how awesome is that? So I want to talk a little bit about the entertainment criteria. And I want to talk first about, okay, well, why? Why are we choosing to change some of the criteria in the entertainment category? So we came back from New Orleans, and judge specialists, and had a conversation at the table and said, we need to take a look at some of the entertainment criteria. We need to delve in, and we need to add more body to the entertainment category. Why? Because now our contests at the international level, whether it be international quartet finals or chorus finals, Harmony Classic, are actually now being actually won by the entertainment criteria. Many times it comes down to choruses and quartets being very close, many times in their barbershop music. But the entertainment piece is the deal breaker. So we feel like we needed to enrich the criteria. We needed to do that for our judges and educate them further, but we also needed to do that for our members. And so one of the things, and I'm going to go to the score sheet, the old one to the left, and this is for open division too. And before I get into the score sheet real quick, I want to say, so how does that affect me if I'm not in the finals, or I don't do Harmony Classic or any of that? Why? We feel the next frontier is all about how to entertain and connect with your audience. hence the change from the showmanship category to the visual communication. And you're going to hear all about that, I think, from Judy tomorrow night, or no, Wednesday, I think it is. And so there'll be some elements here that I'm going to talk about that she'll probably expand on too. And so what we're finding is we want, no matter where you sing, if you're performing in your community, we want you to learn more about entertainment and what it means to perform and connect with your audience. And we feel that this is an educational piece that we can involve and offer through adjudicating, whether you're in open division, in chorus or quartet, and certainly when you get to the international level in the harmony classic as well as the finals. So as you can see, and I'm just going to show real quick, there's a new score sheet that's been developed. And by the way, the new score sheet and the criteria and the level criteria for each is out on the international website. You go and look under the JCDB, under educational resources, pop on that, and then you can go and there's a drop down box if you go past that, and it's the new visual communication category, as well as the new updated criteria for the entertainment category. I mean, not category, but entertainment criteria. One of the things we talked about as judge specialists is we felt before in the old category, the contest song was adjudicated separate from the entertainment package. And you can see the criteria was musicality, unity, theme, script, MC, microphone technique, creativity, and communication down there for the criteria. And then above was whatever category. So the music category would be up there, or I put expression because, Karen and I feel it is the only category. But that's just us. We're a little biased. So one of the things we talked about is we felt that it was difficult to adjudicate and give feedback to a package holistically when we had to jump up and adjudicate our barbershop song. So we changed the format and said, we're just going to do the contest song. We'll use our criteria, but we're going to do it as part of the full layout. Okay. And so that way we feel like we'll do a better job at adjudicating. Next, you can see at the top there on the left side is the expression category criteria, and on the right side is the entertainment criteria, which is a little bit more in depth. And there are some words that are slightly different that I want to explore with you. And so here, under musicality, we actually talk about vocal skills and accuracy. We talk about artistry, and we also talk about evokes the emotion, and the storytelling is evoked. And so it's not just technique, it's how the storytelling, it all works together from a musical standpoint. Unity is vocal and visual, okay? Planning. So we changed it what it was before, and we're calling it planning now. And we're talking about theme, setting, and concept. We're talking about story arc, the beginning, middle, and end. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Although I bet my friend Karen is going to be talking about that when she does her storytelling tomorrow night as well. The next thing is script, organization, and pacing. Okay. And stagecraft, which is a relatively new term. And that involves blocking, props, costuming, makeup. Okay. All of the things kind of worked together. So that's kind of different. And so over under creativity, we have the scripting and the concept. Is it creative? Does it have imagination? Is it innovative? Does it have innovative staging? Does it have stagecraft, the use of props, costumes, lighting, and makeup? Is it using music to enhance the theme? And is it creative? All right. And then under audience communication, it used to be communication. And now it's audience connection. And there we evaluate the mood, the emotion, the message, whether it's well rehearsed and delivered confidently, whether the movement is confident and purposeful, and that it supports the story. that the mic technique does not interfere with the ability to communicate and connect with the audience, and that the audience response is appropriate to what the intent was. Okay, so this is a lot more in depth than what we've had before. I encourage you to go out and pull up the sheets and take a look at them, and also pull up the level criteria on each area, musicality, and we have it all the way from C minus all the way up to A plus, and there is commentary around all of that. Okay, so it'll give you some more ideas instead of me breaking it down individually right now. This is just to tell you that things are, we're kind of, we're giving a little bit more in-depth language, a little bit higher level expectation, and a little more education to both our membership as well as our judges, so that we can work to create higher level entertainment packages. Okay, and that's whether or not you're doing them on stage at a contest, or whether you're doing them out in the community, or you're doing a show. So let me talk a little bit about story arc. And this is just a basic thing. I love that there's a beginning, middle, and an end, essentially. And in the beginning, there's either a problem or a question. And in that arc is the transformation, the learning about either the problem or the question. And then at the end, there's a solution and a response. So I'm going to give you an example of a story arc in a song. I'm just going to read to you lyrics. And it's a song. The song is called Why Did I
Vickie,
Choose?
before we do that, we have a good question that I think I don't want to lose before we get into that.
Great.
Someone had a question about, will facilities actually have the flexibility to allow for lighting and mic work that truly allows for flexibility and effective utilization?
So in that, we'll probably be limited in certain areas because of cost. That will not hold you back from a level of performance. Although there are things that you can do to overcome that, with using stage, with backdrop, with bringing on personal lighting, certain things for yourself. But I think that this is going to be a journey. We certainly want to try to allow that, but we know cost is a factor. So you'll notice I said I kind of dabbled in the lighting area, but it's not a huge part of the area as much as costuming and props and makeup and staging and that sort of thing. So, but I think that's a valuable, so thank you for asking that question. And we took that into mind because we know all of our regions, we can't always, even at international, you can, when you do the finals or you do Harmony Classic, there at this point, we only have so much we can do with regards to lighting. Okay. We only have so much we can do with microphone and that sort of thing. So we're limited there and that sort of thing. But it's more about not letting that encumber the performance, but allowing the performer to carry it no matter what. So it's kind of like the comment that the off-Broadway director said, we want to see the scenery without seeing the scenery. Okay, so if you'll think of it from that concept, certainly we are hopeful at some point we'll be able to explore more of this area, but we know right now it's not a necessity. Okay, and it won't, and both basically it's how you deliver the goods, my friends, and so, but that's an excellent question. So thank you for asking that. Okay, I'm going to go on if that's okay. Is that cool? All right, awesome.
Yep, we're good to go.
Awesome. So the song that I chose, and I'm going to do a story arc in a song. Okay. And the song is, Why Did I Choose You? So there's a question in the beginning. Okay. And as I see reading through the lyrics, that the question somebody asked, they needed to be reassured. They needed to know that the person, why did you choose me? Okay. And so the question starts, why did I choose you? What did I see in you? Here starts the story arc. I saw the heart you hide so well. I saw a quiet man who had a gentle way, a way that caught me in its glowing spell. Why did I want you? What could you offer me? A love to last a lifetime through. And when I lost my heart so many years ago, I lost it lovingly and willingly to you. If I had to choose again, I would still choose you. So that's the end. You see, that comes back. The question is, why did I choose you? And here are all the reasons why. Okay. And then in the end, if I had to choose again, I'd still choose you. So I think that's kind of a general overview of what story arc is. And so when you're doing performance packages, you want to think of that story arc so that there is a beginning. What we've seen and what we've evaluated, and we've talked at the specialists have talked at the table, is sometimes group ensembles will start out really strong and have a great start, but then we lose where they're going and we're confused when they get to the end and we don't know, we're not sure where they were going, or we get lost in the middle. And so we felt like we needed to do more education around this. So to help our singers and performers be better at creating entertainment packages. Okay. Next is stagecraft. And I talked about it. Stagecraft is essentially costuming and makeup and props and how you stage and that sort of thing, and move across the stage and how you take the stage. And so there's so many elements, and that's more theatrical than talking about those elements individually. And it's dancing, which is a form of communication as well. So I'm going to show you the next picture, and I want to talk about that. So when you look at this picture, what do you see? You see out of the box dancing.
Yes.
You see lots of energy and vitality and fun. It's probably Latin. Okay. The woman in front, this dancer in front, is her dress is more vibrant and more vivacious, but they're all capturing the same feeling, aren't they? With the way their legs are, their height. So you know it's a different flavor, isn't it? There's a different form of communication. That is stagecraft right there. Okay. And without hearing the singing, without hearing the music, we already can see and capture the essence of what is about to take place. Okay. Are y'all with me? Cool.
Yes.
Awesome. So next one, this is Gene Kelly, certainly memorable. And what do you see? I see utter joy. I see, he's out in the rain and having a great time. I see props. I see he used the umbrella to communicate with and to dance with. And he used the light post to be able to communicate with and to dance with. Okay. And all of those things become very apparent. And if we were to look at that whole dance scene, he uses that whole street scene to share and communicate how fun it is to be able to go out and sing in the rain. All right. And the joy and the lift in that. So great. And these are just still photos. So my next is actually a live performance. And so this is my last part of the PowerPoint, and I'm going to have you, and it's not the whole performance, but I want you to look at the performer from the ability to say, what stagecraft? Did she use a whole stage area? Did she use props? What about costuming? What about makeup? What was the feeling of the performance? Okay. And then we're going to come back, and we're actually going to come back and actually have a conversation about it. because I want you to understand about the two really important things that we have started to expand on in the entertainment criteria. And that's the story arc, as well as stagecraft and those elements. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next performance. And here we go.
If they could see me now, that little gang of mine, I'm eating fancy chow and drinking fancy wine. I'd like those stumble bums to see for a fact the kind of top drawer, first rate chums I attract. All I can say is, wow, look where I am. Tonight I landed, pow, right in a pot of jam. What a setup, holy cow. They'd never believe it if my friends could see me now. They'd never believe it. They'd never believe it.
Okay, so now I'm back. And I think I stopped the screen share. Did I stop that? Yes. Okay, good. So first of all, how many of you started smiling when you watched that? Did it make you giggle and laugh? Okay. Because truly, good. Oh, somebody's already, Shirley, yes. And so props help the story. Absolutely. Props help to tell that. Okay. But first of all, what is she singing about? What is she singing about? Put it in chat because it'll be easier for me to read. Okay, I see no comments. Oh, herself and her growth. Okay, pride, joy. Okay, yep, she's excited. What's she excited about? Hitting it big time and in awe of all the glory of posh. She's got the job of a lifetime. Exuberance, glee. She feels happy about her life. She finally made it. She's attracting rich guys. Okay, yeah, she is. Okay, I love it. Okay, she's amazed with her life. Absolutely. And so what did you see about the stagecraft now? And so one of the things I'd like is, would somebody like to actually unmute and talk for a minute? What did you notice about the stagecraft?
I noticed she used all her space because she was explaining how happy and joyful she was, and she was using props in the room to help her.
Yes, and she used that whole bedroom scene to do that, right? Okay.
And
Anybody else?
and the
What did-
her space never took away from her. My eyes were on her all the time, her body and her face, and the things just happened to be there.
Right. Absolutely. Great observation. Anybody else?
Except when she talked to the tiger, it was very effective because we know that tigers are powerful. And so she had a powerful conversation with that animal just inches from its face.
Uh-huh. Yeah, which was also kind of an interesting tidbit. Okay. Okay, so anybody else? Go ahead and talk. Was there anything else you noticed in the stagecraft?
All of the props were just ordinary, everyday things, nothing special. She just, whatever was in front of her, she picked up and used. And it was very effective that you just noticed every little thing was just an ordinary object.
Right.
No, I disagree. I think all the props conveyed expensive things, rich things, the rug, the lobster and everything, which just went along with what she was saying.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was so well choreographed and she was so smooth with it. It looked like a breeze. She made it look like it was easy, and we couldn't do what she was doing. When she was dancing in the part where she wasn't singing, that was amazing.
Yeah, it was just fun. And yes, but we could do that. Yes, we could. Sometimes I think we limit ourselves. So many times we get on a stage and we really don't use it to its fullest.
It helps when you have legs up to your neck too.
Well, yeah, she's a great dancer.
Yeah.
I mean, and so let's just talk about Shirley's voice is not what I would call this amazing voice, but there was a clarity to it, and she used it to really be able to carry that character across. Okay. It wasn't like you were going to get tears of emotional intent out of that necessary. It was more about joy. And yeah, and I think she was definitely portraying the high life there. And so the props were, she was using, somebody said she was using normal everyday props like a glass or whatever, and the lobster and that sort of thing, but that wouldn't be necessarily in her normal life. You know what I mean? So it was definitely, she was using props that enhanced that feeling of wealth. Did it not? Okay. Somebody said she told her story with her body, with movements and dancing. So Kathy Crisp, tell me more about that. Would you unmute yourself and tell me what you mean by that?
Hello. Well, I just remember, with the tiger, but also when she fell down on the bed, she was just like, she just couldn't believe it. And so she just flung her arms open and threw herself on the bed. And it just kind of was like her body was saying, wow, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
She was like exploding.
Exactly.
Oh, I liked it.
Yeah. And so I think sometimes when we're in our ensembles, we allow ourselves to get stuck. And so it's really important to think out of the box. How can we, even if we don't have maybe even all those props, how can we deliver that feeling? Maybe we don't have the costume, maybe we don't have those dance steps, but how can we deliver that feeling? And I think that's my thought, is that there's so much more, but we get limited by, we don't have the lights, we don't have the right costumes, we don't have enough room, or we have to stand this way, or you know what I mean? We self-limit ourselves instead of thinking out of the box and say, how could we deliver the attitude and the message of this particular song, even if we don't have all of those things? Okay. The idea is, though, when you do incorporate those things, and you can bring on some props and that sort of thing, you just need to think out of the box. Okay. Costume was basic black. The performance highlighted with props. Delivery was her. Carol, that's excellent. Yes, absolutely. When she wasn't using props, her facial expressions helped tell the story. I love this. The little black dress does not distract from our appreciation of the dance and the story. And I think in the past, sometimes we get so hung up on our costuming that we forget that it's our ability to tell the story. That's only a small piece of it. Okay. And hence, we don't care about your nails and what color they are. Okay. It's the piece of art that is important to engage the audience. Okay. If you couldn't see her, you knew what she was saying. She was selling it with her voice too. And I think that's absolutely appropriate, Linda. She definitely was. If you were going to do this in a chorus, how would you approach it? Well, I think that's where you get a creative team together, and you get costuming people, you get choreography people, you get music people, and you get a team together, and you talk about, how would I take this song and be this character? How would we do that as an ensemble in the chorus? Okay. Does that mean we all have to be her? Do some of us need to be her and others need to be somebody else? I think that's where we we have to get people together and groups to talk from all different aspects. Okay, this isn't something that just necessarily comes from a director. There are more components to that, and there are tons of creative people in your ensembles, but you need to be able to share. And there's so many performances out there, y'all, that you can go and watch and look at and capture and go, wow, let's look at that. Look at that performance. I wonder how they did that. Laurel says, reminded me of Debbie Reynolds and Molly Brown singing The Big Brass Bed. Same energy, same feel. Exactly. Okay. There was always the feeling of being the underdog, and this could be her big chance to change her life. Cool. I like that. She was the underdog. Yep. So I think here's what I'm talking about. And so I want to go back to the category, not the category, the criteria that we've fleshed out a little bit, and understand that this isn't just, this is even when you go out and do your contest set. Okay. No, we can't do, if you do your contest set, you don't necessarily do speaking and MC work and that sort of thing like you do in an open division set that's 10 minutes. But what if you were to completely look at your entire 2 songs that maybe you're doing in an international division and start to pull in some of these aspects around entertainment? And so what happens is you're going to, as you learn from Judy on Wednesday, more about the visual communication category and some of the changes and some of the alterations, they're using actually stagecraft in that category. Okay. So we're okay with props coming on stage. We're okay with costuming and makeup not necessarily being alike. Okay. But it works together. It doesn't pull. It's like her costume did not detract from the character and the emotion and the story she was conveying. Correct? So you want to keep all of those aspects in mind. All right. So questions about what I've talked about tonight, because I really would like, and if you would put them in chat, it'll be easier for us to all monitor. I mean, because I can pull up the score sheet and we can actually look at it again if you would like to. Because this is the time to ask. You've got the judge specialist here who has been involved in writing the score sheet, why it's important. We all work together. We collaborate very well, and we work together. This whole entertainment criteria is almost 3 years in the making. So we've been working on it for 3 years, fleshing out. So it's not just a mamby-pamby, oh, let's do this. Okay, in the past at regional competition, we are told to look like one unit. So how do we get out of the box? So I think unity is more, sometimes I don't necessarily feel like you all have to tell exactly the same story, but we need to be on the same page. Okay. And so, yes, we talked about the fact that we had to have the same nail polish and that our hems used to have to be always the same length and that the color had to be exactly the same. And so first of all, I'm going to deal with this question first. So getting out of the box is, how could we be her? Maybe we create some costuming that's several colors that are kind of not exactly the same costume, but different. Okay. I think the important thing is you need to think about what is it ultimately that we want to communicate with the audience? What do we want the audience to feel? What do we want them to experience? Okay. So you start there. All right. And then you start looking at the character and the story and talking about that. And sometimes some people have problems getting into a story. And so it's important for lots of people to share those stories. Why? Because when you do, then somebody can take on and tell your story, even though it's not theirs personally. Okay? We learn from each other that way. And so there was another question. How would a chorus of 100 women move around on the risers when so close to each other? Well, I can tell you, I have a chorus of 130, and we move all over the risers, off the risers, back on the risers, change places during a performance and singing. It can be done. You've seen North Metro. North Metro they've gone around the risers and moved constantly. So it's certainly something that you can do. All right. So
Vickie, would you be able to show the criteria again? I think that was a request. While we're answering the questions, if you could put the image back up with the new criteria.
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So here's the list of the criteria. And under musicality, vocal skills and accuracy. Okay, so we're going to be evaluating and instant leveling you with your vocal skills like we do everything. All right, and the accuracy of the performance. Notes and words, okay, are important. The accuracy is because we need to understand the lyrics as well as the accuracy of the chords. So that the music and the lyrics go together and communicate well. Artistry, and then musicality as it evokes the emotion and the storytelling. All right. And so musicality is essentially, are you involved in telling the story? Do you have the message? And is it a shared experience? Are you all on the same page, basically? Are you looking for the same outcome from the audience? Okay. Under unity, certainly we want the vocal to be unified and the visual sometimes to be unified. Okay. Because if you're precise, if it's a precision thing, that's one thing. But some visuals are not precise and need to be more free flowing. The unity comes when you're doing visual to more of the character and the body language. Okay. In planning, the theme, the setting, and the concept are very important. What is the theme? Okay. In the story arc, do you have a beginning? Do you have a middle? Do you have an end? Okay. The script and the organization and the pacing. So does the script and does the pacing, does it build to a musical peak? Does it build to an emotional peak? Does it resolve? Okay. Stagecraft. Is there blocking? Are there props, costuming, makeup, or are we getting it without those? I mean, you don't have to have stagecraft, but if you do have it, is it utilized? Is it in the way? Does it seem distracting? So again, it's how are you involving that? Under creativity, is the script creative? Is the concept creative? Is under creative, is it imaginative? Is it innovative? So, and is the staging different? Is it innovative? Certainly, we've seen some of that here and there, but there's more to be done. There's more creativity available to us.
Hey, Vickie.
Yeah.
Sue Beck here.
Oh, hey, Sue.
Hi, what a great class you're having. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
I think there's a little bit of confusion that I'm reading in the chat room about the difference between the international division and open division / entertainment package.
Okay.
I think that some of the folks think that the regular expression score sheet looks like this on the top. And I don't believe that's true, is it?
No. So the open division, when you're doing the second set, when you're doing, so this is not expression. This is the entertainment criteria. So let me go back. Let me show you the score sheet a second. So do you see the old one? The expression. So this was my expression score sheet and what it looked like when I would do either open division or I would do Harmony Classic, or it's a different score sheet than the international division. Okay. And what we did is we up the criteria up at the top was the expression. And then down here, this was the criteria for the entertainment package. Okay. Are you with me? This is the old score sheet. Now what we've changed is to the performance. Let me see if I can move my people. Can you all see that? Can't. There, I'm getting you out of the way. Well, it won't stay out of the way. I'll hold you. So if you'll notice, this is the new score sheet. On the left side is the expression criteria, which is listed here on the left. And then on the entertainment criteria, which has been redeveloped, is up there. And this is the expressions category score sheet that is just for open division, Harmony Classic, or the finals at International Chorus or International Quartet. Now, the international division at regional contests looks like the original expression score sheet or the music score sheet. So for instance, here, and you'll need to go out, like I said, go look at the JCDB because all of the new score sheets are out there and what they look like. So in other words, Sue Beck, if she and I were judging together, this is what my expression score sheet would look like. Hers would look different. Hers would have the entertainment criteria on the right, but on the left would be the judging her category criteria. So we put all of those things at the top. Okay, did I clear that up? Sue, did I make that clear?
I think you did. I think one more thing that I could say is that each of our categories, sound, music, expression, and visual communication, will have our own open division entertainment package sheets that are addressed specifically to that category, so that our little judging criteria thing up at the top of the sheet may be tweaked slightly from category to category just to make it more specifically about that category. But that's the only other thing I would add to it. Otherwise, yes.
Okay, so when we adjudicate the open division or that performance package, what we do is we adjudicate it 100%. Okay, when we know what contest song it is, we actually it'll be written on the top there, and then we'll start adjudicating. We'll probably write contest, and then we'll start talking about our category. But our category, that's when we'll be adjudicating the contestable piece. Okay, we put both of the criteria at the top so that you would know when you got a music judge's score sheet, you knew that when she got to your contest song, she's evaluating you from a music category perspective. Okay. So Donna, I see your hand is raised.
Yes, that's me. I don't know if you can see me. I'm a corollary. Yeah. So far, what we have seen have been all professional entertainers. We've seen Frank Sinatra, Rita Moreno, Barbara Streisand, Shirley MacLaine, and we all know those people. We all know how talented they are. My question is, I have several questions with this very interesting conversation. How do we cross that threshold? We are not professionals. We are being judged, and we have certain criteria that we are thinking and trying to understand what we can put on stage, what we can't put on stage. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So how do we cross that threshold as Sweet Adelines? If you said to me, the sky's the limit, do what you want to do, I would know just what to do. But when you tell me that I have all of the musicality, the unity, the planning, we have things to think about. So it's not that easy.
Well, no. And quite honestly, I'm telling you that I want you to think of this as a journey, as an educational journey. Okay. We're not yes, none of us are professionals, okay? But what we're seeking is to learn more about the art of entertainment and the art of performance. And we're going to take all this great barbershop singing that we know how to do and that we've learned about with the skill and the craft, and we're going to combine it. All right, we're going to combine it with entertaining. All right, we're not going to just go out and be about how many chords can we bring, although that's pretty dang exciting. We know that because it resonates with us. But what we're doing is we're trying to explore more of that entertainment piece, because musicality is really all about the emotional message and the
Mhm.
way you take it and present it and engage your audience. Okay.
But in the end, when you're judging the ringing of the note, the chords, and what we are about as singers is really going to be number one, isn't it? You're not compromising that.
Oh, no. We're not compromising that. We're adding to that. We're
I
saying,
see.
you know what? You're really good at this. This is where we want to see you explore more, where you
I
would
see.
have more standing ovations. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, no, we're not going away from that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for asking your question. Okay. I think that's
Mhm.
very helpful. Anybody else have questions that I've missed? Or my people?
There's a good question, Vicki, looking at how do we know how to balance the stagecraft with the singing? How do we know when it's too much?
I think that again is going to come down to how well can you keep the communication happening, how well you can support your singing. We've seen performances where has a lot of dancing and the singers sometimes are not at the level where it affects their ability to communicate with their audience because they don't have the vocal stamina to be able to dance that much. So that's just an example. Okay. So I think you're going to have to self-assess. That's where you bring somebody in from the outside and they can say, I think you might be overdoing it here. All right. Or maybe you're too spread stage here and we need to kind of develop more. Maybe we need more depth here in the stage so we can hear each other better, to sing better. So it's experiencing. I think that's an excellent question. You're going to need to involve people from the outside, and you're going to have to work together as a team and collaborate and talk about when you feel like this is kind of fun to do and play. And then you're going to know when you're losing your ability to really communicate vocally as well as visually with your audience. That's going to be a huge factor.
Thank you. I think another good one that we haven't had a chance to touch on yet. Are you looking for 100% cohesiveness from every song in a package when it comes to ongoing storyline from start to finish?
Well, I think that what we're looking for, and it's more about, so I want you to think about, instead of what are the judges looking for, I want you to look for what's going to be most meaningful to your audience. Is it going to be as strong a performance if not everybody's dialed in? Okay. Or is it still going to be good? Okay. I think that instead of thinking, what are you looking for as a judge? I want you to think about your audience. And yes, the judges are adjudicating, but we're really evaluating also how the audience is responding and how they're receiving your material as well. Okay. And so you have to understand that. So I guess what I would say, I'd like you to reframe the thinking of that and say, how is the audience going to best receive it? Is it going to be best received when everybody is 100% bought in and delivering the goods is 100%, or when only 50% are? I hope that answers the question.
Another one that kind of dovetails with that a little bit as well is how do we turn non-storytelling members into storytellers when it's not inherent for them, like those people who may not be so animated?
So, one of my favorite exercises, and I'll tell you what, my friend Karen, she has probably things up her sleeve that could help you. There are a lot of classes and education in there, how to get involved in to allow yourself to become a better storyteller. I don't know. Just as I sat and read to you the words to Why Did I Choose You? If you were to sit down and pull a storybook out and read it to a 4-year-old, would you just read, Why did I choose you? What did I see in you? I saw the heart you hide so well. Do you see what I'm saying? Is I think we all have that ability within us. I think it has to be encouraged. Sometimes it feels not authentic. Sometimes it feels put on. Some people are more comfortable with that. And so there are a lot of things that we can do to help our members that are afraid. I think fear is a big thing. And the ability to feel that I'm not going to lose face. I'm not going to look silly. And that sort of thing. And I think that's where we can collaborate with our singers and work together to create beautiful performances and encourage. This is an educational organization. This is why I love this organization, is we continue to learn and grow and to change. How exciting is that? And how lucky are we to be a part of something like that? Nothing's perfect. There's not like a happy pill that we can take and now you're a storyteller. Okay. It's part of the whole learning process.
Speaking of the learning process, the judges have leveling videos to set scores. Will the choruses have an opportunity to see some of those new kind of leveling videos to help better understand some of the changes?
Yeah, I do think that we'll probably be putting educational materials out for that. And so, so when you're working, you have to remember we're all volunteers and we're working together. And it took us 2.5 years to do this criteria and really flesh it out and recreate. There were a lot of rewrites, my friends. Let me be clear. And there was a lot of time put into this. And so it wasn't willy-nilly. And so now as we're teaching it, now we're going to be developing and looking for performances and level performances that will help. But there are level guidelines out there that are written with some wording that should also help you. So I encourage you to go, each of you to go out and pull that up. Okay. And I told you where to get it. You go to the educational resources, click on the JCDB, and as you go at the bottom, it'll say the new visual communication category and the new entertainment criteria. And it will have several things that you can copy off. Any other questions? I think that my whole purpose was tonight to really talk about the roots of performance, to begin talking about what is entertainment, and when are we entertained? How does that feel? And what does that look like? And so I guess what I wanted to do was to start laying an initial, by the way, this is the first time I've taught this class. So I would appreciate your feedback if there's something you didn't understand. And I want to make sure my email address, I think, is at the end of my PowerPoint. Let me just go here real quick. I want to make sure you have it, because if you have a question, oh shoot, no, honey, I'm done. Okay, here we go. There's my email address. Please feel free to write me an email if you have a question, or if you want more information, or if you were confused about something and didn't get your question answered tonight. I'm here for you. I want you to know that. And this is just a beginning. And so I'm actually excited that I got to teach this and to kind of set the wheels in motion. to let you know that this is an opportunity for growth. It's a journey we're all on together, and how exciting it is. I remember when we started the entertainment, you know, I don't even know, Sue probably knows, when we did the 10 points for bonus points at international, dear God, wasn't that 15 or 20 years ago? And so, and then we went to the entertainment criteria.
I think it was about, I want to say 2005 or so.
Yeah.
Just best guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
No, it's later than that. It's later than that.
Yeah.
But
95.
but what you were talking about earlier when you said that the entertainment package makes all the difference in the finals is absolutely the truth.
Yes.
They're 100 now, and they didn't used to be. They used to just be the songs, and then you got the bonus that had no identity to it. So it's great for the judges because we actually have some criteria, and it should be great for the performers too because they have them as well. They know what to expect.
Exactly. And our real goal is we want to continue to educate and grow as performers and entertainers in our art form. And we have so much to offer our communities and our world. And so I hope this was helpful. I'm going to stop share. So hopefully you all got, I hope that you got your questions answered. That's my number one goal. And so thank you for asking your questions. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for being on tonight for Region 1. I hope it was helpful. It was so great to see all of you. So thank you for attending. I don't know how many people ended up being on here.
Well, Vickie, we have 165 people right now, which is just fabulous.
Holy cow.